Hey guys, it's me. I'm here for my post-op week 1 from my vertical sleeve gastrectomy. So I guess you all want to hear the numbers, right? So just so you know, at this moment in time, I'm not ready to share my actual weight. I will eventually. I just need to get up the gall to do it. But I will tell you, like, as the weeks go on, like, how much I've lost. As I've mentioned before in some of my other videos, I have edema in my feet and my legs. Not so bad in my feet anymore, but mostly in my legs. My right leg is the biggest problem. I guess you can't see it so super much by just looking at my legs, but I can feel it. And so I take a medicine called torezimide to get the water out. I believe that the weight that I lost in the week before surgery was the majority of water weight. I also exercised and I had a few protein shakes, so that could have something to do with it too. So let's get the numbers out of the way. I lost 10 pounds in the week before surgery. And the week of surgery, this first week post-op, I lost 17.5 pounds, so 17 and a half pounds gone, for a total since the week before since the week before, you can see how tired I am, can't you? I'm so exhausted. Since the week before surgery and this past week, I've lost a total of 27.5 pounds. That's pretty crazy. My doctor, who I hadn't seen in a couple of weeks, said that he noticed it, like in my face or whatever. I don't notice anything yet. I did notice that my winter coat is a little bit more baggy on me. Now, I don't know if that was a coincidence because I was wearing a thinner shirt or something like that, but maybe, but it's good, so I'll take it. So I think I told a little about my hospital experience. On the day before surgery, the 23rd, I checked in at 9 o'clock in the morning, and maybe I'll put a few pictures at the end of the video. I checked in at 9 o'clock in the morning. We waited around for a long time, and then, I don't know, sometime in the afternoon around 12 or 1, they took some blood, and then, we waited around a bit longer, played some games in the waiting room, and then we finally got into my room. Once we got into my room, I got settled in there, and then somebody came and took more blood, and then, a few hours later, I went off to my endoscopy. Now, most of you already know that that wasn't a very good experience for me. I recommend, if you are able to have the anesthesia while you have your endoscopy, if you need one, really just have the anesthesia if you can. It was very unpleasant, but I won't go into that anymore. So after that, I went ahead and went back to my room and just hung out with my husband as long as I could for the rest of the night, and then the next morning, the morning of surgery, he was there. And I was originally informed that my surgery would be sometime around like 11 o'clock in the morning or 12, something like that. But it got to be past that time and past that time and past that time. Oh, and by the way, the night before the surgery, they gave me a sleeping tablet, and I slept like a baby. It was awesome. So on the day, back to the day of surgery, we waited and we waited and we waited, and then at about, I would say 2:30 or 2:45 in the afternoon, they came and got me, and they gave me the hospital gown and these stupid little netty underwear. And I mean, like, they're not really like underwear, it's like a little fishnet. And I don't know how they expect big girls or big guys to get in there, but I managed. And then they rolled me down to surgery. My husband did a really good job of like documenting, so maybe later on I'll compile a video like with my hospital experience. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing that, but maybe I'll post it in the next week or so. But I did get a few pictures, so like I said, if this video doesn't get too long, I'll try to post them at the end. So yeah, then I got rolled off to surgery around 2:45-ish, 3-ish, or whatever, and I got down to the room where they prep you and stuff, and they had given me a pill the I don't care pill, except I did care, and I didn't really feel anything from the pill except for about maybe an hour and 15 minutes into the time in the prep room, I started to feel tired, and that's all I can say. It didn't calm me down any or anything like that, but although I was nervous at that time because I didn't know how things were going to go. Like, I wasn't really nervous about the surgery itself, but just how, the procedure of everything, leading up to the surgery. So I got down to the prep room, like I said, and I was there waiting, and they put an IV in my arm, and they took my blood pressure and checked my oxygen levels, and so I just laid there, tried to get as comfortable as I could. They hooked me up. They seriously hooked me up, like, with cables and stuff. Like, there was like 10 or 15 cables, like, all over here and on my arms and on my belly and stuff, like, not where they were going to do the surgery, but around there. And they gave me oxygen in my nose because I guess they didn't think that I was breathing well enough, because maybe they thought I was just nervous or something, whatever. So eventually the time came, and the guy came and got me, and he made me switch over, and I was so self-conscious because I had one of those gowns on, with your butt hanging out. And I switched over from that bed to my bed. It's funny, they drove you all around the hospital in your bed, in the bed that you have in your room the whole time you stay in the hospital. They drove me over to the operating table, not in the operating room, in the hallway. And I was so self-conscious because I had to switch over to the other table from my table with my butt hanging out of my gown and everything. And I was like, whatever, they probably see this 50 million times a day, so who cares? So I went over to that table, and it was uncomfortable, but I figured, they're going to knock me out sooner or later. So I go into the anesthesia room, and the guy starts talking to me, and I'm just like, whatever, I was already tired from that pill they gave me, and so he's introducing himself and introducing the doctor, the anesthesiologist or whatever. And then this lady comes up with this big oxygen mask thingy, and she goes, "This is our greeting cocktail." And she goes ahead and she puts it over my nose and my mouth, and she's like, take, deep breaths or whatever. And I can only remember breathing like 2 times, and then I was gone. And so next thing I know it, I wake up and I'm in the recovery room, and they're yelling at me, breathe, breathe deep, breathe in, breathe out, breathe deep. And I'm like, like, because my mouth was so dry. It was like incredible. Like, I didn't even feel like I could breathe or swallow because my mouth was so dry, and I pointing at my tongue, dry, dry. And so she came over with this little spray can of stuff like that wet your tongue so you could swallow, and I was like, oh. And like I kept doing that because she kept telling me to breathe, so I was like breathing more, and my tongue, it was just, yeah. Anyway, so I guess I asked her so many times that she just ended up giving me the can. So every once in a while I would squirt or whatever, and they're still telling me, breathe, breathe in, breathe out. And I'm kind of out of it because of the narcosis or whatever, the sedation stuff. And I was also extremely nauseous. Now, I guess that's not so nice to hear, but I'm just warning you, if you have the surgery, it's possible that's going to also happen to you. So I was nausage? So I was nauseous. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Let's try this again. I was nauseous, so I was throwing up and stuff like that in the recovery room, and the pain from the surgery was, it was strong, but it was tolerable. I don't know, I guess, I have a pretty strong pain tolerance, so I could deal with the pain on my belly, but like the coughing and the throwing up in the recovery room was very unpleasant, because of the stitches and stuff like that, because of the incisions. And then come to find out, the bed that I was in, the electronic part wasn't working anymore. And I don't know if they had switched beds or whatever from when I came out of surgery. But so the bed was broken. It was half down or whatever, and I was like leaning. So I like kind of had to like use my muscles in my stomach to hold myself up. And I had to switch beds right after surgery.